Love them or hate them, beets are really earning themselves a second look. Beets have long been recognized as one of the most nutritious vegetables. Could beets enhance the heart's ability to deliver oxygen-carrying blood, reduce blood sugar and blood pressure levels, or possibly even increase your energy and endurance? Today's show is going to introduce you to yet another all-star power supplement, brand new in the Eden's Essentials line. I'm Cherise Parton, and this is Return to Eden. Welcome, everybody. Today's show is going to be so informative about our new product to the Eden's Essentials line. So I want to get right in and introduce who's with me. With me today in the Return to Eden studio is a certified holistic health coach through the Institute for Integrative Nutrition and product development manager for professional grade supplement and body care line, Eden's Essentials. Welcome, Daniel Belt.
Thank you, Cherise. Appreciate it.
Also joining the conversation is a board-certified holistic health practitioner, a professional fitness and nutrition specialist, COO of Skywatch TV, and author of best-selling books, including the internationally acclaimed book, Time Bomb. Welcome, Joe Horn.
Hi, Cherise. Hey, everybody.
Welcome. Okay, so I am absolutely captivated about the buzz around beets. So we just recently launched a fermented beet. Is that right, Daniel?
Yep, that's correct. It's one of the ones that I feel, I think all of our supplements are really good. And we've really kind of tried to curate them where they have the right place. And we're expanding. We're really expanding.
Right.
We just can't even move fast enough, really, with blood sugar or heart issue, just a variety of stuff. But we all know, at least within our inner circle, that I just love fermentation.
Yeah.
I think our mushrooms are the greatest thing ever.
We have fermented mushrooms,
fermented beets, and fermented turmeric and ginger.
Right.
The beets are just an absolute powerhouse, and there's nowhere near enough time to even begin to discuss how truly beneficial it is. And so, but we're going to try to unpack that and hopefully create a bit of a guideline.
I was going to ask you, why was it so important for you to bring this to our line?
Well, it's evidence-based, it's research-based science. It's like, so when you look at the effects, they're so profound and such a direct addressment of what we're really struggling with in the United States and in the world larger as they become more industrious and whatever.
Sure.
But we are really struggling with some of the things you mentioned, like blood sugar, insulin resistance, cardiovascular disease, brain function.
Right.
And so beets are one of the greatest functionaries in which to give us those things. And just to kind of give you an idea, beets are actually relatively low in calorie as to the nutrition that's given. And our beets are fermented. There's nothing else in it, just fermented. So just to kind of recap for those who aren't aware, whenever you ferment a fiber, it changes it. So there's these structures, fibers, chitins, where the bacteria literally metabolizes the fiber, and it does that, it unlocks all the potential that's inside. So if you go and just eat powdered beets, it is not going to be the same as eating fermented beets. There's a fair portion in there your body's not going to be able to get through in order to unlock all of its potential. I've got a brief list here just because it's so much, but some of the things that this provides, which is enzymes, and that's a broad spectrum of enzymes, things that break down sugars and proteins and different starches. And so probiotic in itself. So because of its fermentation process, it's loaded with good bacteria that then goes in and becomes a part of your body's ecology and to improve its overall function. It's prebiotic and postbiotic, so it's helping out laying the groundwork for the bacteria to do its work, and then the byproduct of its work, which is the postbiotic, provides a lot of immense benefit that you cannot get without this process and without that bacterial relationship. In addition, it's loaded with vitamins, minerals, folate, iron, zinc, magnesium, potassium, copper, phosphorus, vitamin C, vitamins A, boron, lutein, zeaxanthin.
Boy, it's packed.
Yeah, it's loaded with antioxidants like alpha-lipoic acid. It's loaded with amino acids, phytochemicals, polyphenols, flavonoids, carotenoids. I could go on and on. It's a lot.
It's a lot.
Just say that.
And it's a lot of stuff that we don't get in our food supply today.
Wow.
Which is why you see so much cardiovascular on the rise, issues, blood pressure medications being distributed like cotton candy.
Younger people.
Yeah, and younger people
pressure.
with insulin resistance.
Yeah.
You know, kids today with diabetes.
Yeah.
which when I was a kid, you thought of diabetes as something that your
Like a type
grandpa
1.
might have.
Yeah, somebody born with it.
Yeah, but a child.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's tied to so many conditions, which is kind of on the second part of what we really wanted to talk about here, which is like, well, what does this really address? And it addresses vast amounts. And so one of the most
Well,
common...
each one of the things you just said, you're skipping over folate and phosphorus. Like
Yeah.
each one of those is a
Huge.
methyl donor. And
Yes.
we're not going to get into the 7-week series today on what methylation is, but basically your body can't store, use, convert, or absorb nutrition properly without those methyl donors and cofactors.
Yeah.
So beets, you've got these
And
beets up here on
pathway.
stage. Like, what does this one vegetable do? How about 10 million different things, right?
Yeah.
You
Wow.
can't even quantify
Yeah,
it.
I mean, to your point, and that's why I wanted to have a whole program dedicated to
Yeah.
just the one thing. Because if we were just to talk about vitamin A, C, E, and selenium,
Right.
You know,
Just that.
and
Oh, for Pete's
and
sake.
Yeah.
like, and what that means, you have no immunity with that stuff. There's just
It's
so
just,
much.
I know,
addressed.
like you said the word
Like,
selenium, and I'm thinking, hey, we're doing a show now on selenium and prostate health.
Yes, right.
Pulling
Well,
out heavy
Yeah.
Okay.
you know,
Yeah.
metals.
Yeah.
So many men have these inflamed prostate issues, and selenium is one of the most important anti-metal toxicity
in-
buildup.
Yes.
Yes, so
It's so-
detoxers. It's like
it addresses actually prostate, sexual health, all these on a vast array. So let me just read off the list of just the ones that I decided to list, and then we'll riff a bit on
Yeah.
all of the on where these things connect, because
Yeah,
a lot
the
of it's going to
benefits.
connect for you because you know a fair amount about these things. But you're really actually coming to your knowledge of beets, and so you'll see how much this is tied
Well, it's
together.
exciting for the viewers at home to understand what our product has in it, what
Yeah.
it can do for them.
Right.
So just to name a few, it's tied to immunity, blood pressure,
That's huge.
blood sugar, endurance in athletics, but that's also work endurance, nitric oxide, and this would be tied to what people have to take when they're having heart attacks, because this actually creates the same thing that you pop the
or if they have
nitrous
blood
for.
pressure issues and
Blood-
they're carrying this
Yep.
little capsule thing with nitric oxide around in their pocket.
Yes, so they don't die.
Right.
It matters.
Gosh.
And so what it does for actually lowering, it has a direct lowering of blood pressure because the nitric oxide is flowing through the blood, causing dilation of the
Right.
vascular system. Mitochondria, which is what produces all the power for our cells
Yeah.
throughout the body. Blood flow, cardiovascular health, BDNF, which is brain-derived neurotropic factors, basically the way that the
Okay,
brain makes
slow down.
neuron.
Say that one more time. Brain.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Brain-derived neurotropic factors. And this is basically, and I'm not going to try to unpack this
Sure.
here, but how our brain ages, how it develops neurological connections, how memory, acuity, the
Yeah.
retention.
It's almost
we could
like-
talk about just that one thing
Right.
till tomorrow.
It's almost like God knew better than we did why He put certain things in food, right?
Almost,
Before
Joe.
before we came along
Exactly.
through science and improved everything,
Well, yeah,
right? You
yeah.
know,
Almost.
or made it more. Yeah.
Almost. Let's
We're
get-
being facetious, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah, certainly.
Okay, sorry. Continue.
Well, let me continue. So neuroplasticity.
Yeah.
And that's again
Memory.
Yes, memory and
Cognitive.
tight brain connections.
Yeah.
All this stuff. Aging, stress, lack of sunshine. Because
That's
again,
huge.
the common phrase is, "Oh, we go outside for vitamin D to get sunshine." Well, vitamin D controls between 800 and 1,000 gene expressions just by itself, and there's literally 1,000 other things going on when you're in the sun. Those red spectrum light penetrates through the skin and it turns on and off the switches in your body. Beets have an effect in similar facets.
Wow.
Cholesterol, again, inflammation, brain health, cancer. Like there's actually strong ties between what's called betalains, which is like a category of things, and its ties to cancer. Eye health, liver health, phase 2 detoxification of the liver, stroke, skin health, hair, digestion, oxygenation, kidney health,
my gosh.
and sexual and reproductive health. And those are just the ones I picked. Any one of those we don't have enough time to
Right.
talk about
No,
today.
I get it.
But you
exactly.
can kind of see
Right.
again, this is actual God's plan.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
is that we have these things at hand, and thank God for science, which is just all our observations of His law.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
Right, or it
Yeah.
should be.
it should be, to your point about why we know better. And I say the fermentation of beets, this is ancient.
Wow.
Like this isn't new,
Right,
or
right.
the fermentation of mushrooms or anything. This is an ancient art and a science, and its culture and our culture, I say that and I can't help but nerd out about it because it's actually a bacterial living culture. And as we take in the variety of these things, like for example, with the mushrooms, with the beets, with some of these other factors, that diversity of fiber leads to a diversity of bacteria, and that's what crowds out bad bacteria.
Right.
That's what crowds out the kinds of yeasts and molds and these things, cytoplasmic things that where it summons other bad stuff to it. These cytokine storms,
Oh,
you know,
wow.
and
We're hearing
things
a
like
lot about,
huge.
yeah, right.
With
And-
viruses and things.
Yeah, no, I apologize. We're not going to pack cytokines right now. But you know what I'm saying? There's just so
Right.
many, there's real ties between how blood passes through the brain barrier, to how the neurons are connected,
Yeah.
to how the ATP within your mitochondria is being developed to drive the energy of the heart
Yeah.
so
Right.
you can have proper...
Let's get to that energy in just a second. We're going to have to take
Sorry, I
a
took
break,
my
Daniel.
beats and
No,
I'm
it's
just wilding
exciting.
out.
It's very. Aren't you guys excited?
You got him on beats.
I know.
You knew what you did when you set this show up.
Total nerd out. But we will be right back with some more information for you on how these beats are going to affect your life.
Millions of Americans are suffering a health crisis epidemic right now. Trouble with digestion, diabetes, chronic fatigue, hormone imbalances, depression, autoimmune disease, and more. The truth for many is that the real culprit of modern disease is simply a lack of vitally important nutrition. It is well established that the food we eat today has but just a fraction of the nutrition it once carried. Over the last 6 decades, there has been an alarming fall in nutrient density across the board, from fruits and vegetables to meat, dairy, and eggs, due to soil depletion and intensive agricultural growing and harvesting methods. This means that less and less key nutrients like riboflavin, thiamine, niacin, fiber, copper, vitamin E, and phosphorus, just to name a few, are present in what we eat. What's worse, almost all of our food is laden with poisonous herbicides, pesticides, and antibiotics which destroy our body's microbiome, the health of our digestive tracts, where 80% of our immune system resides. In short, it means that we're not being nourished properly. And when you add the constant exposures to toxic chemicals we were never meant to ingest, our bodies are destined for the rise of disease and dysfunction. But what if I told you it didn't have to be this way? At Eden's Essentials, we provide the absolute best and cleanest nutrient-dense whole food supplements and personal care products on the market, derived directly from non-genetically modified foods, grown from clean soil, free of pesticides, herbicides, and biosediments to achieve the highest quality nutrition possible. So what is the Eden's Essentials difference? Well, many supplements on the market are packaged, labeled, and presented as healthy or even organic. But under the microscope, the ingredients may tell a different story. From expensive products being nutritionally void of what is advertised on the label, or using synthetic vitamins that our bodies struggle to absorb, to containing the same pesticides and herbicides we've already mentioned being used on foods, it's difficult to know what products are actually safe or as advertised. At Eden's Essentials, our products undergo a series of the most complete and rigorous raw material tests in the industry to ensure that our customers receive the highest quality bioabsorbable nutrition possible. We take pride in offering the most nutritionally dense supplements and the purest personal hygiene products available today. Our desire is to help serve the needs of everyday people so that they can achieve the highest degree of health possible. From our full-spectrum immunity-boosting fermented mushrooms, some of nature's most powerful antiviral nutrition, to our 100% fermented organic whole beetroot powder for cardiovascular support, and our special Eden's blood sugar support for assisting proper insulin regulation, you can nourish your body like never before. So revolutionize your health, maximize your immunity, and restore your vitality. Experience for yourself the Eden's Essentials difference and join the Eden's family. Visit edensessentials.com today.
Welcome back. Welcome back. I had to stop, Daniel, but I want you, something that I have read about with the beets that's exciting to me, because a lot of people at home, some of us are run, go, do, and about 2 o'clock we just start to fade away.
Right.
You know, What's something that this is really good for as far as energy that I've been hearing about?
Without trying to unpack way too much, mitochondria, which are kind of considered the energy factory of our cells, it's the aspect that our body converts energy for. It drives pretty much everything from your heartbeats to
Yeah.
brain function.
The
to,
mitochondria is
Yeah.
what I call them to my grandbabies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's directly tied to energy from a bioelectric perspective because people don't really think about the fact that we're bioelectric. I mean,
No,
we run
sure.
on electricity
Yeah.
and other stuff, but like that's the mode by which it operates. But that in turn drives not, well, just that, but so for example, it's like vascular dilation
Okay,
and
yeah.
dilating the lungs to open them up to get more oxygen.
Oh.
We run we're pneumatic, we run on liquid and oxygen pressure. And that's what delivers, again, that bevy of minerals and vitamins. Talking about
Right.
earlier, the A, the C, the E,
Right.
Yeah.
the zinc, and that, which again, was tied to these methylation pathways, which makes everything happen. And so it causes that action. Let me step back just a bit.
Yeah.
What it really does best is lift up the base constitution of a human being.
Okay.
You know, it literally reaches to the most base things that actually make a human body go, which I need energy for functioning. I need
Right.
these minerals.
A lot of stuff that's not in our soil or in our food.
Right. And we're just
Methyl
not
donors,
getting
minerals.
Yeah.
Right.
And so-
Detoxification.
Yes. Right.
Everything that keeps the liver producing healthy bile for digestion
Yeah.
and all of those things.
Literally, it would take hundreds of hours just to describe these things because as it ties to the gallbladder and as bile production, things like that. If food is just sitting in your stomach, you will be tired.
Sure.
That's right.
Because the
sure.
body
That
has
makes
to
sense.
take energy. It takes energy to
Oh, it
metabolize
does.
food. After they eat, they get tired. It's because the
Right.
body's stopping the production of energy and
That's right.
starting the
That's right.
digestion
Makes
of
a lot
food.
of
And they
sense.
feel
like,
that post-lunch dump.
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of like
exactly.
It's kind of like
That's
Star
exactly what it
Trek, you
does.
know,
Yeah.
like reroute all power to the shields, you know, like, it's like
Yeah.
and it does. It shoots
Right.
over here because actually,
Yeah.
if that food then sits in there, and it does for a lot of people because their metabolism is so
Right.
slow,
Right.
it then ferments, but not in a good way.
Bad.
Right,
so-
right, in a bad way.
In a bad way,
exactly.
and that's just bile.
Which is where you start getting into acid reflux, indigestion, burping up,
Yeah.
and having to swallow, and
Yeah.
it's very gross and it's painful. and
Sure.
People
Very
start,
painful.
esophageal issues, and
Oh,
then they're going in
and
for
getting a
upper
prescription
GI
for-
scopes. And,
Yeah, all kinds of things.
But we had a
Formula.
really clever, I told her I was going to take credit for it, but we had a really clever question during the break from
Yeah.
one of the guests today. Lynn Williams is in house today.
Hey.
And she said, people maybe watching the show want to know how to take this product.
Yep.
And it's a great question because, I take for granted because I use it every day.
Yeah, that's
But
true.
is it a capsule? Is it a powder?
Right.
How is this delivered? Well, when you pull the lid off this thing, you'll see that it's a powder and there's a little scoop inside.
Yeah.
Now, this can be done with a smoothie.
Yeah.
You can take one level scoop and, like Lynn said, put it in some yogurt.
Yeah.
Or if you have an aversion to yogurt, maybe applesauce.
Yeah.
I take it with my mushrooms
we
and
do
with
too.
my
We
bone
do too.
collagen and
Yeah.
all the other things
Yeah.
that I do
Yeah.
in what I call a smoothie, but it's not like you're thinking with a little tropical umbrella and it tastes like pineapples.
No,
There's nothing frozen in it in what I describe as a smoothie, but it's
Yeah.
basically just a bunch of nutrition that I put together because it's good for me.
Well, we do it with, I have like frozen organic blueberries and just a really clean coconut water.
Mm-hmm.
And then we do our fermented mushrooms and the fermented beets.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
The drink I have every single day, which is the same. It's the
Yes.
fermented beets. It's the time you see me walking around.
Yeah.
People always wonder what it is.
Your big glass jar.
and
Yeah,
the
he's got
fermented
his little
beet-
jar of
His
whatever.
jar.
Right?
Yeah, and it's
something.
beets and
Everybody's like,
turmeric
"What is
and
that?"
the fermented mushrooms.
Yeah.
And then also I squeeze like a fresh lemon in it. I put a little of our zinc in it
Right.
as well. And then I actually put some kombucha. And that actually, I think it's utterly delicious. It's just a very energizing drink.
It's like
Gets
a
me
gut
all-
hero drink.
It really is. And
Oh,
it gets
wow.
me through the whole morning.
And what
Really
people
doing
don't
the
know,
thing.
and we're not going to get into this, but Daniel, at one time, man, your health was literally shot.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when Daniel's talking about what it does to his vitality and his
Yeah,
energy,
that's
like
huge.
he didn't come in already a fitness guru and giving me that little 2% nudge. Like some of the stuff that Daniel and I take of our own product,
Yeah.
like the mushrooms and the beets,
Beets.
it is so substantial and so palpable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That you feel the difference immediately when you miss a day or something, like
Toby
if
and
you're
I had that
traveling or
discussion
whatever.
last night because I was talking to him about what we were going to talk about today,
Uh-huh.
and he has noticed a marked improvement in his stamina and his
Uh-huh.
energy because he does hard physical
does,
labor.
yeah.
And so at our age, it's important to have some stamina and some energy
Right.
when you don't, you get up in the morning, you're like, oh, wow, that hurts. What happened?
Right.
So
Yeah.
for him to say that to me unsolicited was huge.
Yeah.
With just a few minutes left, though, I want to say something else about not just our beets, but our mushrooms, all of our products, actually.
Yeah.
There's this term that some people may have heard flashed on social media. It's really on its face, it sounds like pretty easy to understand, this phrase bioabsorbable.
Right.
But I want to spend just a minute and talk about our products being fermented and why they are basically still within the nutritional context that God meant for our bodies to actually absorb and utilize
Used
nutrients.
correctly, yeah.
Let's say there are products on the market that have been synthesized. These are vitamins, they've scientifically synthesized or created isolates. They are removed from the cofactors in food that God meant for them to contain when you swallow them and then you absorb and then you utilize them.
Right.
So you'll see a bottle with X number of dollars on it, and it looks like maybe you get tons and tons of milligrams over on this brand more so than this brand.
Right.
And isn't this one, since it's lower priced, and I get 2,000 milligrams of vitamin
IUs or
C,
whatever.
IUs or milligrams, whatever,
Right.
versus this product. But if it's not bioabsorbable, then basically you're just wasting it down the toilet.
Yeah.
The proverbial toilet or the literal toilet. You're
Yeah.
just wasting it. Your body can't cope with it. It's not going to use it. It's a burden to the liver. It
No.
just discards. It purges what excess it can't go in and
No.
break down. And then your body has what are called cofactors. Let's say you had a reserve of some of the cofactors that actually matched part of the puzzle with a particular nutrient.
Yeah.
And it allowed you to absorb it for a short stint.
But
Because,
then-
through previous nutrition, it's sitting on some of the cofactors required to now receive this nutrient.
Yeah.
But when you blow through those reserves, you'll see what we call a diminished return, where, man, this product used to get me up.
But
It used to,
now-
my
yeah.
immune system used to,
Yeah.
but now I take it and I feel either nothing or I feel tired or whatever. Is this making just really broad stroke general sense?
Yeah, it makes a
Yeah.
lot of sense.
So all of the products, and Daniel, you can talk about this too if you want, but all of the Eden's Essentials products, because they are grown in clean soil, free of pesticides,
Right.
herbicides,
That's important.
biosediments, from clean soil that was enriched to have the actual ecology required to then grow a healthy vegetable to
Yeah.
start with, when you eat it, especially in its fermented form, your body doesn't have to labor to receive it.
Yeah.
It's
right.
just swallow and then watch what your body does with it.
Exactly.
Does that make
Oh,
sense?
100%.
Rather than toil with synthetic,
Yeah.
or pesticide-laden liver detoxers that are
Right,
actually worsening your condition. Does this make
Exactly.
sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
To summarize, that's the entourage effect, which is so much the basis of what we're trying to do here, which is the entourage is like, it's our entourage that makes it work, not the one thing that makes it work. So we get it in its complete state, like complete forms of vitamin C.
Right.
And it's coming in the package in which it's meant to. Like, because again, there's nothing in here but beets. So all that stuff was actually arranged by design to be the way that it is so that we can have that nutrition. And you had mentioned earlier about like, for me too, I wasn't always this way. I mean,
Yeah.
and was my late 20s before I ever started to really understand what was going on. And I was exhausted every single day. I'd sleep 14 hours and wake up completely exhausted. Have
Right.
nothing on any day. And
This
felt,
is post-military and a lot of drugs used recreationally and just a lifestyle that tore you apart.
yeah, bad, horrific food and lifestyle choices.
Nerve damage.
Nerve
From the
damage.
military and
Yeah.
things that are way above just, the recreational
just-
drugs and stuff.
Right. But even so, I mean, I'm approaching 50, and I used to live on stimulants and things like that, and it would pick me up, but I
Yeah.
didn't realize, that's all wavelengths.
Wasn't
What goes up
sustainable.
must come down.
That's
Yeah.
right.
And so if you
Yeah.
keep picking it
Burning
up
your
all the
adrenals
time,
out.
Oh my
eventually it will
gosh,
just
right.
force you down, and you'll have no way out because it's stimulated and not nourished.
Yeah.
That's
and
right.
now
That's good.
It's a
I
huge
don't,
difference.
provided I'm doing what I need to, I don't ever flag for like energy. When they tell you, it's just as you get older.
And you're
in time.
more active.
Oh, yeah.
So when you say he's got the energy to do it, you're also kind of manufacturing some of that stamina through activity.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
you can't live sedentarily and then
No,
expect
right.
a reserve
No.
of energy just to come upon you because of a
No,
supplement.
no.
It's-
It won't
Actually, there's
happen.
no way that could ever happen.
Right,
There's a
exactly.
trinity about it, and which is like
Yeah.
you have to be active, you have to sleep, and you have to be nourished. That's
Yeah.
the three things that matter to humans.
Well, Daniel, with just a couple of minutes left on the clock, I want to ask you one last thing.
Okay.
So, what could you impress upon our viewers about this incredible new product that you would want them to take away from today's conversation?
Well, we've talked about a bevy of different things that it can address, anywhere from cholesterol, blood pressure, memory, a whole host of things. I won't relitigate on that.
Energy.
I would actually go back to the previous statement I made about it raising the base constitution of a human being.
Your overall
meaning like,
health.
because healthy people should do this.
Yeah.
I believe if healthy people do things like this, and really with the foundation of good nutrition,
Sure.
good sleep, peace in your life, spiritual
Sun,
orientation,
exercise.
where God, these things are in your life. This is one of the best tools you could ever have, because it's going to go out. You don't even have to, and this is true about the premise of redemption and healing, is you don't have to necessarily know what's wrong. You more have to know what's right.
Wow.
And so, like, even if you don't understand some of the things of why this might negatively impact you, and maybe not even see how it connects to you today, it certainly is, and it certainly does. And you don't have to be perfect, kind of back to what we were saying, and
Right.
go throughout your whole life and bring a whole new one. Don't. One thing at a time.
There
It's
you
not
go.
a race. We got the rest of our life. We don't need to be perfect.
Yeah.
We just need to be better. And this is
Yeah.
one of the best products for addressing the most array of issues, if not tied with the mushrooms, it might be tied. But it's so broad spectrum on so many levels.
I take them both.
Yes.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too.
Well, I do every
Yeah,
single
yeah.
day.
Our family.
Why not take them both?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
For sure.
So that's what I would impress, is that, like, hopefully we do our best to engender trust
Yeah.
and transparency where they can trust our judgment.
Yeah.
Because I don't want everybody to have to learn all this stuff. I like it because I'm a nerd, but
Yeah.
actually it's not useful for a lot of people. It's too much.
It's too much.
And so, which is God's wisdom. It's like, I know, like, I cannot reveal to you, this is just a beat. I
Right.
don't know how,
Oh,
like,
for Pete's
like
sake.
on
Yeah.
earth,
The
of all the
Yeah,
creation and the
exactly.
universe. Yeah,
Right.
like,
Yeah.
how could we even fathom the complexities of it? But that's kind of my thing. It gives us the gift of observation and the minds in order
Yeah.
to ascertain, just to go back to figure out what they knew before
Yeah.
they started measuring everything.
Well, Daniel, Joe, thank you guys both so much for being here today. I'm
Thank you.
Sharice Parton. Thank you for spending part of your day with me. Eat better, feel better, live better. We'll learn more together next time on Return to Eden.
Hi there, I'm Brie Graffio with Eden's Essentials, and I'm here today with Daniel Belt, and we're going to talk to you today about our Eden's Fermented Turmeric and Ginger. Daniel, what can you tell us about our product today?
Yeah, so first, what turmeric is for. It has many properties outside of being just delicious. It is a common spice, but it's typically used for proper inflammatory responding. It's good for cardiovascular health. It's good for the liver. It has shown benefits to helping out with blood sugar as well. So it really addresses a variety of issues that are common today.
That's so great. Is there anything that you can tell us about what makes our formulation great and different from other formulations?
Sure. Turmeric works very well specifically with ginger, so that it's also in it. And then, again, a big asset to our products in specific, which is a common theme here, which is fermentation is king.
Absolutely.
It's fermented, and when we put it through that process, it unlocks the nutrients that are in the spices in order to make them more bioavailable to us. And in that process, other nutrients are created as well that provide a wide range of nutritional benefits and health benefits across the board. And that would be the main reasons that it's really good.
Absolutely, I agree. Thank you. Now, you could go to the grocery store and start to incorporate some organically grown turmeric and ginger, or of course, you can call us at 1-800-652-7168 or order online. And of course, if you have any questions, please feel free to email us at info@edensessentials.com. Thank you.